So, hi, what is the standard of proof for a DVC case? Because the standard of proof for a civil case is preponderance of probabilities, and the standard of proof for a criminal case is beyond all reasonable doubt. Now, what is the difference between preponderance of probabilities and beyond all reasonable doubt? Preponderance of probability means if you could convince the court that you have a probable case of what you are submitting to the court. That is to say, whatever the facts you are submitting to the court, which if at all you prove to be probable by leading evidence, then it is preponderance of probabilities. So the standard of test for a civil trial is preponderance of probability. In a basic understanding, you can take it in this way that if you are able to satisfy the court to the extent of 51%, then you have a case. But the standard of proof for a criminal trial is entirely different. It is beyond all reasonable doubt. There is no need to prove anything in a criminal trial. You need to create a doubt. So, both are two different types of standards. In a civil trial, you have to prove your case. Your case has to stand on your own legs. You have to submit evidence based on the facts you submitted to the court. But in a criminal trial, you don't need to submit if you are accused. You have to simply try to disprove the case of the prosecution. And the standard of test in a criminal trial is beyond all reasonable doubt. That is to say, prosecution has to prove the case. Prosecution means police has to prove the case beyond all reasonable doubt. That is, now if the percentage factor is taken into consideration, it is 95%. They have to prove their case. So all reasonable doubt means roughly you can understand it as 95%. But accused, from the side of the accused, there is no need for him to prove anything. He can simply create doubt in the mind of the court that the prosecution story or the prosecution case is false. That is the only defense accused is entitled to submit to the court in a criminal case. In a civil case, the defense is totally different. Now, in a DVC case, which is filed through a special act called DVC Act, Domestic Violence Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. What is the standard of test? Because DVC case is simply a civil case granting civil reliefs with a criminal flavor. Now the standard of test will be very much difficult because both are two different and contradictory tests. For a civil trial, it is preponderance of probabilities, and for a criminal trial, it is beyond all reasonable doubt. Now, in a DVC, as I had earlier said, it is a civil reliefs granted by the court, criminal court, civil reliefs granted by the criminal court having a criminal flavor. So, because of violence, the word violence is used, it automatically becomes a criminal case, and all criminal cases are prosecuted in a criminal courts. So when it is prosecuted in a criminal court, the procedure that is adopted should be criminal trial procedure. But because it has a civil reliefs, it grants a civil reliefs with a criminal flavor. What is the standard of test that is applied by the court? The answer to this is it is simply left to the discretion of the court. The act gives enormous powers to the court to decide the procedure, So the court can go ahead with the civil procedure, or the court can go ahead with the civil criminal procedure, or the court can go ahead with the mix of both civil and criminal. And therefore, the standoff test that is applied in a DVC case is solely left at the discretion of the judge. So the judge has to see and protect the interests of the justice by applying whatever the standard of the test or mix of the standards of the tests that are applied in both the cases. So it is left to the discretion of the judge to decide the type of test to deliver justice in a DVC case. Thank you.